Hello. We were going to be going out. We've been out once. Sorry, my friend, but a bit later. Sorry, darling. Yeah, we've been out. We've done the obligatory, you know. Hi, darling. Later, okay? We're going to go later because it's very, very wet. Yeah, I know. I go on the couch for 1 minute. On the couch. I'll give you a little cuddle in a minute. A little menace. Oh, it's cold opening that door. Yeah, we've been out. We played the usual. He now wants to go out again, and it's decided to, you know, winter. I was thinking about, really, I was thinking about the time that I spend with this little boy. You know, I read something on the internet a few years back before I even got this little man. There he is. Look, you can see him. Right, birds. Good boy. Before I even got him, and it said try and talk to your dog. It sounded ridiculous, and I read it, and it said something about a lot of people don't talk to their dog, whether the dog understands or not. The dog understands your demeanour, your words, your energy, things like that, really. And it's very, very important to do that. But I was thinking about the time that I spend with him. You know, I tell him everything. I say to him, you know, I'm just going to the, I won't say it because he gets upset. No, I'll tell you what, I will. I'll use this word and you watch him. Shower. Bird, I'm going to have a shower. It's alright, mate. I'm just going to have a shower, that's all. Bird. Bird. And what's the matter? What's wrong, darling? I was just going to go and have a shower, that's all. Is that alright? Bird. Oh, what's the matter, darling? I won't be long. Alright, I won't have a shower, I'll stay with you instead. Yeah, he gets very funny over certain words, so he does understand words, but I was thinking about the time that I spend talking to him and explaining and stuff like that, you know, and it sort of led my brain on to think about time. I spend a lot of time in nature, and there's another saying, I do read a lot, don't I? I read about spending time with your dog and talking to your dog. I also read a little thing, and it says something about time spent in nature is never wasted. It's a vein, I can hear it now. Which I absolutely agree with. You know, time in nature heals me. It's beautiful, it heals me. That's what I think, you know. But I was thinking about time, the whole concept of time. We don't really understand time, you know. And I can be talking to my dog, playing with my dog, brushing my dog, messing around, being silly. Then we go out and we play BALL. Then we go for a nice walk in nature. And half the day's gone by, you know. That concept, those moments all added together that we call time, you know. And you can say, you know, that it's time that's ticking away, but it's not really. It's your life that's ticking away, you know. That's what I think. Your life is ticking away. Right now your life is ticking away. If you're at work, your life is ticking away. You know, if you're involved in some hassle and trouble and problems and arguments with somebody, that's your life force. Not really time, it's your life force that's ticking away. Your life is ticking away, you know. And I think we've got to spend our time as wisely as possible. And we all get involved in things. I recently got involved in something on Facebook, and it upset me a little bit. And I was going to turn the laptop off, and instead of turning the laptop off, this particular person came back and said something else. I kept it very, very calm, very peaceful, very quiet, and I just said my bit. And this guy came back, who the fuck are you, crawling out from under your rock, blah, 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 you know. And like I say, I was going to turn it off. This is my life, you know, my life or my time. And again, very peaceful, I just said, yeah, I'm going to go now. I'm going to crawl back under my rock. I'm probably better off there, away from people like you. And again, he came back with a barrage of abuse. You know, this was on Facebook. And again, I kept it very simple. I said, you know, 4 comments now from you, and you've shown your true colours in every comment. You know, I'm very sorry to see that. I said, anyway, I have a life, I'm going now. And instantly he came back with another barrage of abuse. And I felt I needed to answer it again. And I found myself answering it. And I actually, in the end, I was arguing, I suppose, with this guy. I mean, I was trying to keep it very gentle, very calm, because it didn't matter to me. It's words on Facebook. But, you know, time is a funny concept. Time is all we have sometimes, and time is running out, you know. As I say, it's not the clock ticking away, it's our life that's ticking away. And, you know, I decided after that, I'm going to spend a little bit less time on Facebook now. I want to spend a bit of time on Facebook. I do enjoy it, and I do connect with quite a number of people that I do like, that I do get on with, that I don't argue with, and things like that. I like to put photographs up, my videos, my art. I like to have a chat. Sometimes people ask me questions. I'm not an oracle. I don't know the answers to things, you know, really, but I know my answers. So if somebody asks me a question, I can answer it when I think about myself being in that position. And whether it's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's how I would deal with that particular situation. You know, but yeah, your time can be dragged away from you as well. Your life can be dragged away from you as well. By simply, I don't know, being on Facebook or being on the laptop or doing whatever you do, you know. So as I say, you've got to think really about your time. My time with this little quiet man who's going to sleep now is very, very important to me. My art is very important to me, my meditation, my reading. There's lots of things that are important to me, and where I want to spend my life and my energies, you know. And I need to probably think this through a little bit, you know, to think, why am I spending time doing that when I could be doing this, you know. And we all do that, and I know, okay, some of it is for entertainment purposes. I think that's what Facebook is, isn't it? Entertainment. And so is YouTube, and so is lots of different things, really. But I find myself getting caught up in certain things, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of a back seat where Facebook is involved, you know. You know, just lately I'm parked on a site, and I tend to get up in the morning, I upload a video if I've done a video. I check if there's any questions about my art on my art group and things like that. I check my emails and a couple of things. I see if any subscribers have put any videos up. I read any comments on my videos on my Facebook. As I say, I answer emails and different things like that. And you know, before I know it, it can be 10:30, 10:30. I've been up since 7. Do I need to spend 3.5 hours on the internet? I don't think I do, you know. And then what happens is sometimes we go out and we have a bit of a bimble, or we do whatever we do, and a couple of hours later I'm sat here with a Slurpee and I'm on the laptop again. You know, so my goal is, you know, I enjoy it anyway, so that's cool, so I carry on doing whatever I want to do, but I am just going to limit the time. You know, my goal is really to probably once a day I'll lift the lid of the laptop and spend an hour on there. And I think I don't need to spend any more than that, do I? Not really, you know. And as I say, it's not really your time that's ticking away, it is your life that's ticking away. And I don't want my life to be measured by arguments on Facebook. You know, it's kind of worth thinking about it, you know. How are you spending your time today? You know, when your head hits that pillow at night and you think, wow, I got up at, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning and it's now 10 o'clock at night. How did I spend my time? Where did my life go today? You know, and the other thing that we've got in our heads is that we're here forevermore. I'm sure we've got that. If not, then it's just me. I don't know. But I see no end, really, to my life. I know it's fading away and I'm getting older. I've got a grey beard, so, you know, sometimes I'm not very well, and it goes on and on and on. You know, both my parents have died, so I must be a certain age, you would have thought. And eventually I will die, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine, but I don't really see it as that, you know. It's just today is today, you know, and tomorrow will be tomorrow, and the next day, like that. And I think I've got all these days ahead of me forevermore. But really, if I'm absolute honest with myself, you know, this life will fade away in what, 10 or 20 or 30 years. It will fade away, and it will be no more. So I now need to sort of think, what do I need to do with my life, you know? And the things I love doing, absolutely love doing, I will continue to do. But the silly things I'm not going to do, you know. If I want to go on Facebook, answer emails, look at YouTube videos and what have you, then I will. If I don't comment back, very sorry, but I'm living a life. I will not be bothered to get into arguments and stuff like that anymore. Or even try to persuade people. I think I'm guilty of doing that. I'm guilty. And what I mean by that was, recently in the UK, we're supposed to be in this thing called austerity, where we got no money, and of course it's a lie, because we've got loads of money. And the government, in their wisdom, have decided to spend an absolute fortune on the Queen's house. Rather than letting the Queen, who's got trillions, pay, you know, the money's going to come directly from us, from the taxpayers. And people are on there saying, oh no, it's coming from the Crown Estate. Well, the Crown Estate is us, you know, of course it is. So I've spent time on there trying to convince people of that. It doesn't matter. If they're ignorant to that fact, it doesn't matter. You know, that is my life, that is my time, and I'm trying to convince them. And they're saying, oh yeah, how do you know? So I search and I find a link to the government website, and I say, here's the link. And they say, yeah, but I don't prove anything. I said, well, it does. Let me highlight it for you, and I highlight it. And it's not an argument, but it's, why am I doing this? You know, you're talking to brain dead sheep most of the time, and I don't need to be doing that, you know. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I will go on Facebook on my terms, I will go on the internet on my terms, and I will live my life my terms, really. You know, it's just fading away, isn't it? Tick, tick, tick. This video, what is it, 6 minutes long, 7 minutes long, something like that. So that's 7 minutes of my life that is now gone. Worth thinking about, really. You know, I'm going to make my life count. I love every day anyway. I love doing whatever I do in life. I've got a zest really for life. Don't know where it comes from, but I have, you know, and I do enjoy it. And I see so much negativity around me. And I see a lot of pain and suffering as well around me, you know. I don't mind being involved in that. If I can make a difference to somebody's life, then obviously I will. You know, I'm human, and that's what we should be here for. That is not wasted time. But I need to ask myself the questions, because I haven't got the answers, but I need to ask myself the questions. What is important time and what is wasted time? And I need to understand the concept of time, really, because it is running out. So I need to spend time on high priority things rather than peripheral, exterior bollocks, really, and that's what it is. Anyway, I'm going to go and see what's happening with the weather, because he wants to go out. Anyway, nice to have a little chat with you. Ta-ra then.